Hey, stay tuned. You might like this show. All right, I was telling you guys, there's a crossover. Marvel and DC came out with Daredevil, Batman, and Batman, Daredevil.
Yep.
It sounds brilliant, and I have no idea how I missed it. But
Now, my question is, if they were to turn that into a movie and they want Ben Affleck to play the part, who would he play?
I say Batman.
I say Batman as well. But that's a great question.
The reason I say it, okay, how do you feel?
I could see him doing both. I mean, he did a great role in
both.
Batman, better than
Do
expected.
both.
But he played an excellent, even though Daredevil wasn't the smash hit like it could have been, but he played awesome Matt Murdock.
He played a great Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
Agreed. I
Yeah,
mean,
there were positives in that movie for sure.
You felt like, if you could say the essence of him being blind, you didn't feel like it was rough house, like, oh, he's forcing it. But the idea was, when he was first offered that role, he said, if his 15-year-old version of him came to the future, it would kick him in the shins for not taking the role. But then after the movie kind of tanked a bit, he said, I would never do that again, not try to revisit it. But again, that he played it well. The storyline stunk. Agreed?
Yeah.
I expected so much better out of
Yeah,
him.
and the proof in that is the success of the Marvel Daredevil that's currently on Netflix. They've proven you can do Daredevil right.
Yes.
Yep.
And you're right. Affleck was a great Matt Murdock. It was the rest of the story that just didn't hold together in the end.
Exactly.
Even the supporting cast, Elektra, I thought she did a great role, who spun off the guy that played the Kingpin. He had that mean demeanor, and Bullseye was just great, too.
Bullseye was awesome,
Yeah.
yes, I agree with you. I mean, how about Jon Favreau? He was the Foggy Nelson.
Yeah.
They played some jokes on him. Remember, he
Yep.
put mustard in the coffee and then switched it. All that stuff. I mean, it was beautiful stuff done. They used a lot of Kevin Smith's, a little bit of his storyline. You remember the scene where he's hanging on the cross? That was the cover of one of the issues.
Right.
They had it all, but the storyline failed in a couple different ways. They gave us too much too soon. You had to stomach Elektra. You had to stomach the Kingpin. You had to stomach quickly a Bullseye. All these different things on top of finding out who Daredevil was and where does his moral compass lie. Is he a bad guy that beats people up too much, or,
Is sometimes I feel like with the inception of the Marvel movies by Marvel Studios, which seem to be on fire right now, and the stuff that Netflix is doing with Daredevil and their upcoming shows, I feel they are. Well, Marvel, of course, they own the characters, are taking their time to do it. Netflix wants to put out good quality stuff. Not saying the other studios do want to do it. I don't know what they were thinking when they did Fantastic Four, the last movie, but other than just getting it out to keep the rights. But it's like sometimes I feel like, did anybody read the Daredevil books? Did anybody talk to anybody at Marvel on who to do the characters? So if you introduced Kingpin the first time, you could have did a story with that, and then introduce Elektra at the end as a teaser. Who is Elektra? The character, and then do the Frank Miller Elektra movie. I mean, you got so much possibilities.
Yeah, I think. Look, that movie was remarkably ambitious, and I think that's part of the problem too, because you've got all these characters that you're getting in, and Marvel through the years has learned very, very well how to structure these things, how to develop a series of movies, how to develop a series of television shows on Netflix. They've learned lessons, and I think that the Daredevil experience was a significant part of that.
Yeah, they have the ability to see around the corner. These are the mistakes we made.
Right.
Now, I know I'm not going to be doing a spoiler alert because this is nothing too revealing, but in Suicide Squad, if you didn't see it, I mean, you should have seen it by now. In the beginning, we have so many characters. Imagine trying to tell all their stories quickly over that movie. They have a quick... Amanda Waller walks in. She has a file. This is about Deadshot. This is about Harley Quinn. Boom, boom, boom. Give them each about 2 minutes of backstory.
Sweet.
And they're done. And that was perfect because now you knew all about who they were and what they're about. If they did that with Daredevil, I think just focused if they did it with all of them like that, then fine. Or just focus, like you said, on Kingpin. There's enough to try to build a storyline of how he needed to take him down step by step.
There's
Law and Order type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of substance in the relationship between Daredevil and Kingpin to build movies plural, let alone a single one. So yeah,
Well,
could have been done.
look at the Netflix portion. Without blowing too much, in the first series, it was all about Kingpin. Stretched it out. The second one came out. He's in prison now. And without spoiling too much, because it's still within the early phases. But
Wait, Daredevil is in prison now?
No, Kingpin. I'm sorry. Did I say Daredevil?
No,
Oh,
you
you
just
said
said
he was
he.
Oh, I meant Kingpin because if in my sentence structure it stopped with Kingpin, comma, he is in prison. See, I know how to write too. I work for the Lebanon Daily News too. So when you said that, I was like, whoa. But anyway, so getting back to the stuff, he was in prison, the Kingpin, and he was still ruling the roost. So you can do that, and like you said, elongate things. You don't have to just throw it all down our throat. So yes, it can be done the right way. As we just said, Marvel did it the right way. So now let's go on to, say, Ryan Reynolds.
Brilliant as Deadpool.
Absolutely.
What'd you think of him as Green Lantern, as an actor for the Green Lantern?
It's fine. The movie was so not there, not held. It just the movie doesn't hold together, so that's a problem. But
But he was a good actor, right?
It wasn't the actor's fault. That's right. Yeah.
I mean, he had the look, with the haircut, the whole military. He pulled off the test pilot look.
And the cockiness.
And the cockiness, which Hal Jordan has. It's just the story was just too much.
Yeah, there's nothing that was wrong with that movie that I think you can blame on Ryan Reynolds.
No, absolutely not. How about the training scenes, okay? When Kilowog trained him, they showed it about 30 seconds. Then when Sinestro trained him, another 30 seconds. That bird-like creature, Somari or something.
I can't ever remember the bird creature.
And they were like, we trained you well for those 3 scenes. It's like, there's so much involved with that Green Lantern ring, and to sit there and have a sword fight with Sinestro for 5 seconds, and now you can master the will, the concentration that goes into it.
I actually liked the Green Lantern animated movie that was out better than the movie.
Yes, it was.
itself.
It was
like,
awesome.
If they would kind of do something similar to that, that would probably been
Was
a better
Ion
movie.
that robot creature
Yeah.
thing? Yes, that was great because that introduced the Red Lanterns, which are my favorite. That was great.
I'll have to check that out. I haven't seen that yet.
It is awesome. It
I
really is good.
I
But then
remember I
they-
bought it at a video store. It was like, going out of business. I picked it
Right.
up. And it was a great movie.
That's good.
But the thing is, that storyline they focus so much on his beginnings, so much on him just being a cocky, I'm in my plane, I could do all these things, and celebration of trying to get, after they got the contracts for stuff. They should have, if anything, they just should have started in, he's just a cocky, test pilot, and now he finds the ring, and then concentrate as he's on Oa, as getting trained by the other Green Lanterns. What does it take to fire off a missile from your ring? The thought process, the pain, because they actually went through that the one time. Green Arrow borrowed his ring and fired off an arrow, and as he fired it off, this was the Jeff Johns story. He went, He goes, that hurts. He goes, yeah, you got to concentrate everything in there and focus it so it's coming out of your body. It's hurting. So focus on that. And then, or how about the beginning? Started off with Sinestro's already a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought that big head in guy. I mean, he was terrible, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's possible. It has to be possible to do a great Green Lantern movie. It didn't happen that time, but the animated one you were talking about sounds terrific. So there's in this day and age, there's no real reason they couldn't have probably done something like that with live action. But
All right.
So what do the writers do good with Deadpool? What do you think?
Deadpool, well, they kept him true to his character. Ryan Reynolds obviously knew about the character and liked the character, and he did his research on it, so he pulled it off. I wonder how much Deadpool is in Ryan Reynolds, because from some of his other movies, he's just to me, it just seemed like he was just
Perfect.
having a blast. Memorized a few lines they had to do, but other than that, just be yourself and have fun. And his excitement came across in that movie.
I mean, he sold it to Marvel, begging them.
Oh
to
yeah, I
do
remember
this.
that with that clip and everything.
He did. He paid for that all himself. He really wanted this, and he fits that role perfectly. Yeah,
it was a great match of somebody who understood the material and somebody who could do a great job and did do a great job.
Guaranteed. So good writing on that part did it. Because he's a great actor he's a good actor on, it doesn't matter if he's doing Green Lantern in this. He's a great actor. It just shows that the writing on both those things and the way they transcended the storyline proved.
Being that you guys are both writers, and I'm not,
Yeah, sure.
not professionally, I don't get paid, but anyways, but from your vantage point, when these studios take a comic book character and they say, we're going to turn it into a movie like a 20th Century Fox or one of those, Sony, that these guys may not even read the comic books or be excited about it. And when I almost feel like you have these great storylines, they don't have to be identical. You can build upon it, like Iron Man, instead of Vietnam, it was, in his origins, it was Iraq or Afghanistan, one of those places.
Yeah.
But they kept the premise of what it was, and the Dark Knight, or Batman, the one with the Joker, Keith Ledger in
Okay.
it,
Yeah.
kind of kept it more or less. These are within the fields of the character and the comic books, and they feel like sometimes I get the impression like, oh, those are comic books. We can do better than that. And then you look at what they produced, and it's like, how could you have missed the ball on that?
Right. I agree. I mean, they put their own 2 cents in, and take control of a vast library of storylines and say, nah. Like right now with the Suicide Squad, they changed Harley Quinn's origin. And it's like, wait a second. The magic that made it happen is there. Why are you messing with the soup? Let it go. Let it happen organically. Don't force things. Because once you change the character's origin, now you have a conflict. Comic world versus movie world.
I just worry about the people that go up there and say, boy, this movie sucked.
Right.
And then the other guy who never read the book, well, I'm not going to go to it.
Exactly.
He collects comics. He knows about this stuff.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, look, I think that's all excellent points, and it's I think tends to be less of a problem now than it was 5 years
Yeah.
ago, 10 years ago, but it's a very real problem that still pops up every now and then. Why they changed Harley Quinn's origin story, but hopefully, I think studios are learning to let the people who really have a genuine love and passion for the original source material, let them do their jobs.
Bring the
Exactly.
story to life.
Exactly. Put it this way. Let's just talk Batman. You have 76 plus years of storytelling. They've done stuff. They've tweaked it here and there. Superman, his powers, tweaked. But it's always the same. He's come from Krypton. Bruce Wayne's parents were killed. You can't change certain things. Now, granted, Harley Quinn is not that old. I mean, even the Daredevil or Deadpool origin, they twisted it. But keep it true to its roots. And not only will you always have the comic book fans coming, but you'll win those people that aren't comic book fans to continue to come. Plus, they might be comic book fans themselves. Because I know people who love The Walking Dead and only buy that comic just so that they can continue the storyline. So
See where they're going to go with it.
Right, so keep the comic book people happy, but keep those other people happy by not changing the rules and let them come in. They might want to buy those comics, therefore putting more money in DC and Disney's pocket.
And
As I
maybe
say,
more
Marvel.
movies, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Is there, now we did a previous show where Andy and I and Grogan talked about what we would like to see in a movie. Being that you're here with us today, is there any kind of comic books that you enjoy reading that haven't been in a movie yet or has a chance to be redo that you would like to see?
Well, I'd love to see some of Ed Brubaker's owner created, or
I said Velvet, yeah.
Velvet would be fantastic. Velvet would really be a great movie, actually. Yeah, it would be fantastic. So, but in terms of superheroes, I've never read Doctor Strange. Okay, so that's like a hole in my cultural awareness. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what Scott Derrickson does
Same
with the
here.
Doctor Strange movie. And so I'm really excited for that. It's not one I would have picked myself, but just from what I've seen, it looks like it could be a really fun show.
What do you mean you don't think Doctor Strange should be made into a movie?
No, it's not. It's just having never read it, I would have never picked it. Just because I don't know that much about the character. I don't. I know a little bit here and there, but so I would have thought there would have been a lot of other characters sort of ahead of him on the pecking order.
Sure.
So I think it's a very interesting choice.
I kind of agree with you.
know?
I do. I really do. Because when they picked Doctor Strange, I was like, why were they doing that? But then I go back to the Infinity Gauntlet. Doctor Strange was he was so needed to fight Thanos.
I guess
And that's why that's why they got him.
one of the Marvel executives said when they were doing the movie lineup that were leading up to the Infinity Gauntlet wars and stuff, one of the things they said they had to introduce a Doctor Strange because they wanted to get the mystical element that's been missing from the other Marvel movies.
Yeah.
But just to see, but you figure once they open up that, if it's successful and you got another movie, can you imagine all the other characters are going to join with the possibility of a Brother Voodoo making an appearance
Definitely.
or something? Because like you, I
He wore Doctor Strange
Yeah.
cowl for a while.
I-
He was Sorcerer Supreme.
wasn't a huge Doctor Strange fan. I mean, there's a few stories I picked up here and there, story arcs I read in issues or in the teams, but I was never that huge collector of it. So I'm really excited about this movie. I think it's going to be good.
Fill in the gaps, right? Things
Yep.
you didn't know. I loved Doctor Strange for a long time. In fact, we had up here, I put a shirt that I had back in the 1980s just to show I'm not just a bandwagon jumper. I've loved
Yeah.
Doctor Strange. I've read it for years. Good stuff. I mean, everything about his character is so cool. And I can't wait to see what he's going to do against Thanos. When that attack happens and he comes out of nowhere and starts blasting them, that's going to be so cool.
Here's an idea for a Doctor Strange movie for the future one, or even a Netflix series or something if they were to do that. Remember, there's a lot of people for Halloween time, a lot of people like the horror and stuff. Remember that vampire storyline I was telling you about?
Oh,
How
definitely.
cool would it be to have a
I'll try
Doctor
that.
Strange and a vampire storyline?
That'd be awesome. I'd love it.
be
You know I would.
excellent.
I would never. I definitely want to read that, but I don't want to pay a lot for it yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's still relatively cheap, but I got kids to feed.
I understand. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta
Important
do.
to feed those kids.
Yep.
That's right. They take all my nickels. They take your soul. They take your life.
Or get the graphic novel.
You could let me borrow yours.
I have to dig it out.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Oh, then it should have been
I'll have
here
to
by
dig it
now.
out.
We've been talking about this.
Yeah,
for
you didn't
months.
ask to borrow it.
Oh, that's true. He's right. Okay, do you think we nailed this one?
Yep.
Like we always do. Well, if you get tired of the same old story, please turn some comic book pages and leave any comments in the box below.
Thank you for joining us, Eric. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook.
Thank you.